rapid 22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
The struggle as a strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a life. The president never gave me any deadline.
Struggle as a strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a life. The president never gave me any deadline.
It's a beautiful day. Good morning and welcome to Global Television. This is Global Morning, reaching you live and direct from the nation's capital, Abuja, Nigeria. My name is Ramsey Enoch. It is a beautiful day. The reason why I said it is a beautiful day is because we have the opportunity to see another bright day again, irrespective of the things happening around us. And you know, each day comes with its own promise. Each day comes with its own good, the bad, and the ugly. And the decision is ours to pick out of these three, whether the good, the bad, or the ugly. But this morning, I know everyone is going to be picking the good, because that's the best that we wish you from Global Television. And as it is, so many things happening from the globe. Developments from stories around the world, from the United States to the Middle East, coming down to Africa, to the East Africa, then coming to West Africa, coming down to Nigeria and every state in Nigeria, including FCT, the Federal Capital Territory. So many developing stories happening. The passage of the bills by the House of Rep has generated a lot. And I think some persons are so curious, especially the issue of state policing. And apart from that, NYC core members are smiling right now because of the decision taken as it has to do with their 77,000 naira minimum wage payment and the backlogs that will be paid them, as the case may be. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and it's good to have you join us today on Global Television. We have so much going down for you today on the program. What are we starting with? The major headlines, of course. We will be starting with the newspapers. What are the papers saying? What are the stories making round today on the national dailies? We'll be looking at all of that. Then we shouldn't also forget that we will have two major discussions on the program this morning. We will be looking at, well, first of all, the issue of Natasha's recall. INEC have responded. What's happening from the Kogi Central? Natasha's case got to the National Assembly, and in the committee, there was an uproar, there was a disagreement, an exchange of words between Ezekwesili and, of course, Obi Ezekwesili, and, of course, Ebonyi, a senator representing the Ebonyi people. And of course, we will be looking at all of those matters arising from Natasha's recall. And don't forget that we will also look at something very, very important this morning. And that has to do with the fact that a lot of Nigerians are asking questions. Sometimes you ask questions and you will be wondering who really is going to answer this question, because the person to answer this question seems to be like the judge in his own case. How is the National Assembly? How is the image of the National Assembly, as a matter of fact? So much will be going down today. Just stay with us, and we will be on the flights together. We are flying together, all right? We are riding together. We are driving together. How is it like in your area? Where are you commuting from? Where are you moving from? Are you on your way to the office already? How is the traffic around your environment, around your destination? The traffic lights, are they working perfectly? Or some persons are breaking the rule? Someone tried breaking the rule this morning, and I was like, why is he doing this? Why not just wait? Impatience. You get to some traffic light, you see a lot of accidents because this person is not patient, he's coming from the other side, he's not seeing his front, he's not seeing the left, the right, and he's already bypassing the traffic light. You want to beat the traffic light, and before you know it, an accident has occurred. And that will stop you from going to wherever you're going to. If you are in a hurry, it's better you leave home on time. All right? So if the commercial vehicle you are in is breaking the traffic rules, trying to beat the traffic light, please talk to the driver. Because apart from breaking the rules, your life is also at stake, because you don't know if any other vehicle is coming from your left or your right. You can't see your left and right. You can only see your front, because that's why it is more of a T-junction. You can't see the other ends except for your front. So we need to be very, very careful. We need to talk to drivers who are breaking the rules, especially that one that will jeopardize our lives if care is not taken. Because if the accident happens, before you can say one or two, you're already in the hospital if you don't lose your life in the process. So we need to talk to these commercial drivers who are always in a rush. They want to drop passengers and go back, pick other passengers and make a lot of money, breaking the rules, endangering people's lives. That's not the best. Something can be done about it. All right, moving away from there, so many other things are happening from the polity. It's very hot. The statement made about democracy by Peter Obi is now under attack by the federal government. You know, sometimes democracy is government of the people, like they say, for the people, and like the people believe. All right, but then, do we really have a true democracy? If you ask some person, they will tell you yes. And if you ask some other person, they will tell you never. We've never had one. Okay, that's individual differences. In every administration, there are people that are so happy. There are so, in fact, if you want to say anything about the administration, they will come after you. And there are some persons who are very, very uncomfortable, who are very, very dissatisfied with certain things going on with the administration. So that's how it is. But then we're looking forward and waiting for that time when everyone will come and, of course, say something good about the ruling party, the sitting government, the president, the House of Rep member, the senators, and everyone, the governors. Well, the governors are rising to the occasion for the suspended governor of Rivers State, talking about Siminalaya Fubara, and the administrator is already on his toes. The head of civil service has resigned. Someone said, why should the head of service resign? Well, some Nigerians are not really comfortable with the fact that he resigned, because it's a position a lot of people long for, a lot of people fight to get to that position. There is a level you get to in civil service before you can become the head of civil service, at least. Getting to that level and resigning for reasons best known to him, I think some persons are raising eyebrow. Some persons are saying, well, it's comfortable. Some persons are saying, is it that he's feeling like, well, I can't be under this man. I am loyal to Fubara. I can't be under this man, so I need to resign. Is that the reason? Well, just go do the research for yourself. But then, whatever it is, I think peace is gradually returning to Rivers State, even though there have been a pocket of information about vandalizing some properties, especially the pipeline. The civil defense and the authorities are on top of their games. The arrest of vandals happening on a daily basis, and it will keep happening. And that's why we'll have the Civil Defense Corps and other paramilitary and military officers protecting these pipelines, because the hazard, apart from the hazard, so many things will be lost, all right, if these pipelines are being vandalized. All right, we'll go on a quick break. After this break, we'll return. I'll look at the pages of the National Daily. Stay with us.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
to have you back. Thank you for joining us on Global Morning. In case you're just tuning in, maybe you just got to Global Television. This is Global Morning, reaching you live and direct from the nation's capital, Abuja. My name is Ramsey Enoch. Once again, I'm taking you through the national dailies. Let's get to see what the papers are saying. Beginning from the Punch newspaper this morning, a lot of stories making round. This is Monday, so everything that happened over the weekend, most of them will be coming up today, even though we had the weekend newspapers. Now, from the Punch newspaper this morning, a lot of headlines, and I'm beginning from this one, which is above the nameplate, and it says a legal profession facing ethical challenges, says CJN. I want to take that again. All right, it says legal profession facing ethical challenges, says CJN. That is the Chief Justice of Nigeria, and he said, well, legal profession is facing a lot of ethical challenges. Some Nigerians, I believe that the judiciary has been compromised by the executive. That's what some people are saying. But then I think the proof is yet to come to the fore, even though everyone making that statement have their proofs. If you get on social media today, we've had lawyers, barristers, legal practitioners interviewed on our program here, and they also attested to the fact that there have been some form of compromises by some individuals and not everyone in the system. But then legal profession facing ethical challenges, according to CJN. Moving away from there, Natasha's recall. INEC notifies Senate as constituents amend petition. Natasha recall. INEC notifies Senate as constituents amend petition. Details read on page 20. As states oppose bill seeking immunity removal from VP, governors and deputies. States opposes bill seeking immunity removal from vice president, governors of all the states and deputies. Oh my God, I don't know how it's going to look like. But then this immunity have really caused a lot of problem. We're going to be looking at the impact of this immunity on national development on my program today, and I will have a guest join me as we talk about that. This immunity, has it done Nigeria more good than harm, or more harm than good? But then I know the governors were really going to come after it, because immunity for some and immunity being removed for others. Rivers emergency rule. PDP governors ask Supreme Court to reinstate Fubara. IBAS sacks appointees. IBAS sacks appointees. So much happening in Rivers State. Rivers emergency rule. That's the kicker. PDP governors ask Supreme Court to reinstate Fubara. IBAS sacks appointment. All right. That's detail. The details read on page 2. Now to the big story. What's the big story saying? 91 groups seek INEC registration as coalition talks gather steam. 91 groups seek INEC registration as coalition talks gather steam. One writer to that story, electoral body say no application rejected as opposition gets up to challenge ruling party. Okay, coalition parties, coalition. Who are those forming this coalition? Where are they coming from? Are they fresh bloods coming into politics, or they are people that have been there before? One of the things that Nigerians are so surprised about is the fact that coalition is always being formed, not a new reform, not people with different ideology, people with the same ideology coming from parties that have ruled for 16 years, for 8 years, for as long as possible, are the ones still forming this coalition. They are the ones still trying to gather themselves and form another party to fight probably the ruling party and any other party in 2027, as the case may be. But then questions should be asked. what are the ideologies of these parties? All right, what are their ideologies? Are they different people? Is it fresh blood? Are they coming with fresh ideas? Well, ideas can be fresh anytime, any day, irrespective of who it's coming from. But someone said something that you can't put a new wine in an old bottle, or vice versa. It may not give you what you really want, or maybe you have a new garment, then you go and patch it with an old garment. Well, let's see what will happen. All Nigerians are saying is, give us a good democracy. We want to enjoy the dividends of democracy, and that's what Nigerians have been longing for. So whoever, however, wherever and whenever that is going to come, is a concern to Nigerians, because a lot of people will tell you we've not really enjoyed democracy. Some persons will tell you, is it true that democracy is government of the people, for the people, and by the people? Just because of the way certain individuals run politics and governance in Nigeria. But then we will get there. All right, this one says a review hike in data cost, Senate tells NCC. Review hike in data cost, Senate tells NCC. Details read on page 21. Is something else. I don't even know what Nigerians are enjoying right now. Is it tariff hike? Tariff hike is there. Bank charges is biting at the other hand. Price of food is biting at the other hand. Fuel price is biting at the other side. So what exactly are Nigerians enjoying as a people? That question is what a lot of Nigerians are asking. You know, people get to ask us these questions all the time because they feel we are the ones who bridge between them and the people in governance. They feel we are their voice. So most of the things, the questions we ask on television are questions that Nigerians are asking. You know, we interface with these people more than the people in governance. So whatever they say, we pass it across to the people. The truth is that the hike in data is something else. A lot of people do remote jobs today. A lot of people communicate via the internet. The usage of ICT now is not very easy. You know, tech, we are in the tech world. The 21st century is a tech century, and a lot of advancement by the day, and these things are made possible by this data. But then the telcos, apart from the tariff hike is not just for data alone, even calls. You recharge like 500 naira, 1,000. I know some people recharge as much as maybe 500, some 50,000, some 100,000, depending on what you're using it for and depending on your level. But the average Nigerians recharge 1,500, some even 200 and 100 naira. I tell you the truth, you won't believe it. There are some people even recharge as low as 100 or 200 naira. But then, before you even say hi, the money is gone. So communication is one of the things that bring growth, development, national development, makes business easy. A lot of transactions, deals are being sealed right now on the internet. And you need data to be online. And if you are not online, if you are offline, you are off business. And if you are off business, there is no growth. There is hunger. So people need to be on the internet for good all the time. Not for people who are there for some form of lousy reasons. I'm talking about people who do real business on the internet. So it's so good that there is going to be a review of the hike in data costs. Senate tells NCC. NCC promised Nigerians when this issue was coming up that they were going to do something to make sure this price doesn't bite this hard. But I'm so surprised that this is happening. All right, but then the review is necessary. All right, this one says Ogun Moloko sign MOU on energy, port development, infrastructure. That's a big one. A tariff snare. This one says as motorists battle flood on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Reps move to convert 37 Lagos LCDAs to local governments. All right, that's good. That's good. All right, moving away from there, let's get to the next paper, which is the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. And on the Daily Trust newspaper, I have this headline, which says, Lakurawa kills 2 custom officers, 1 other in Kebbi State. That's a sad note on a sad note. This one says, Senate pushes for lower data prices. Very important. Recall, INEC confirms petition, notifies Natasha. INEC confirms petition, notifies Natasha, meaning the correction or maybe what's not in order in that petition has been corrected, probably. Constitution amendment, that's the big story. Immunity debate. What is good for president is good for the vice president. All right, details you can find on page 14. All right, not page 14, page 1 and 4, page 3 and 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Constitution amendment, immunity debate, that's the kicker. What is good for president is also good for the vice president. Remember, there is a bill that says, well, the vice president, governors and deputy governors should be stripped of their immunity. You know, this immunity has cost a lot, and people have benefited a lot from it. So it is both sides. It's a debate that you can't finish in a day. You can't finish that debate in just one discussion. So let's just keep our fingers crossed and see how that is going to go. The governors are already going after it, and this statement is directly from the office of the vice president, probably, or maybe people who feel the right thing should be done, because what is right for one of the person may not be right with the other person. But then we have our justice system, we have the judiciary, we also have our rules, we have our regulations, we also have the 1999 Constitution, very strong and gallant, so we can always visit it. And there could also be amendments, there could also be executive orders, as the case may be. All right, moving away from there, 112 persons killed in Niger tanker explosion in 3 months. That's on a sad note. It's happening everywhere. We talked about it. When should these tanker drivers move around, if they must move at all? Okay, and who is supervising them? Who is sure of the sanity of these people who drive these heavy-duty vehicles? All right, more headlines still coming from the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. CJN raises concern over unethical conduct of lawyers. CJN raises concern over unethical conduct of lawyers. I think this is a serious matter, because if any lawyer do anything outside, as a matter of fact, people will condemn the judiciary as a whole, all right? But then, if one person does anything and the person is apprehended or meant to face the law, then the people will know that NBA is working. And of course, the judicial panels are also working, all right? I know the judiciary have a way of trying or maybe reprimanding erring officials, erring members, all right? I know NBA is just an association, but the judicial justice system and, of course, the body that is responsible would have to do the needful. This cry is coming from the CJN. That's to tell you of how important it is. Niger's Chiani sworn in for 5-year transition period. This one says Zenith Bank's earning hit 3.97 trillion naira, records 1.3 trillion naira BPT. All right, PBT. Okay, moving away from there, let's get to the next paper. Our time is far spent, but then we'll look at the nation's newspaper right now. Zenith Bank makes 1.3 trillion full year BPT. All right, that's a good one of this, because what actually boosted our economy, you know, we have a little boost in our economy in 2024, and that came from the banking system and, of course, the telcos. All right, then this one says 20 states yet to fully implement contributory pension scheme. Anything pension should not be joked with, because pensioners are passing away every time, and people are being meant to face rigorous processes to get their pension after serving for several years. After retirement, you go face all of this at old age. It's not a good one. So something needs to be done. So 20 states yet to fully implement contributory pension scheme. That should be looked at as a matter of fact. Then this one says DMO declares 1.9 trillion naira sukuk proceeds. Then court throws out case against Xenox boss, AK, and others. Details read on page 4. Now to the big story on the Nation's newspaper. And the big story says, well, we are going to Edo State right now, and it says Edo government ratifies suspension of 71 energies by Oba of Benin, Iwari II. All right. Now to the big story, CJN. Fashola warned against rising misconduct among lawyers. Rising misconduct among lawyers. Two writers to that story, legal practitioners. What are they doing? They have deviated from the rules. The people who are supposed to protect the rule, people who are supposed to be custodians of the Constitution and the law and the rule of law, are the ones deviating from the law. That's to tell you of how bad the situation is with lawyers in Nigeria. It's not all about just waking up overnight and opening maybe your own chamber and you said, I am this, I am that, I am this. It is beyond just going to the four walls of the university, getting to the law school and coming out and opening a chamber. Some persons have made it an avenue to make money, but then the oath that is being taken is not even being considered anymore. You know, it's so bad that the CJN is the one complaining of the misconduct of lawyers. Such lawyers should be meant to face the law. They should be brought to the open. Let the people see who they are, because a lot of people are going to fall victim. You know, when people have problem, they are somehow gullible. When people have problem, they are gullible and they fall victim in the hands of these unscrupulous elements. You know, so the needful needs to be done. The lawyers who are supposed to be custodians of the law are the ones, all right, who are violating the law, breaking the rules. These things have rules and regulations. If anyone is not meeting up, the judicial system should look into it, all right. The Chief Justice should look into it. The lawyer should be brought to book, meant to face the law, because no one is above the law. I could remember when we were being told that the judiciary is the last hope of the common man. But right now, can we beat our chest and say the judiciary is the last hope of the common man? The common man even knows that the judiciary is no longer the judiciary that we used to know. I've interviewed a lot of lawyers on my program, Legal Practitioners, and some of them attested to the fact that a few among the lawyers are the ones who are doing this thing. Sometimes the court officials also go about to do all these things, but then if a court official working under a lawyer or a barrister go to do anything that will tarnish the image of the system, why not relieve that person or make the person to face the necessary punishment, so that at least the name of the judiciary will be saved? Look at what is happening in the Senate today. You know, I don't expect a sitting Senate, no matter how angry you are. You are a public figure. You don't exchange words. You don't insult people on national television. You know, that's not so good for me. You may be right. You may be offended, but then you need to be patient. It's one of the attributes of a good leader. As a leader, you need to be patient. But then, in this part of the world, as soon as people become leaders, they become mini gods. That's what it is. They become mini gods and they do as anything they want to do. That's what they do. But leadership is servanthood. If not until people in governance get to know that, they will keep missing it. And if you keep missing it like that, you won't be remembered for anything. And remember, there are some public office holders who left office and nemesis caught up with them. Don't be one. So if you want to minister well. Like one musician in Nigeria sang a song. If you want to be a carpenter well. If you want to be welder well. If you want to be in governance, govern well. That's what it means. So it's so good that the CJN is crying out, and everyone who is found wanting should be shown the right way. The right way. All right. Still on the national dailies this morning, the Nation's newspaper. This one says IBAS fires Fubara's political appointees. So what is happening in Rivers State? Council ordered to render accounts. Councils ordered to render accounts. I trust a former military man. A military officer is always a military officer. IBAS is firing Fubara's political appointees. Everyone appointed by Fubara has been fired. Probably he needs his own people to work with. It happens. It happens in almost every strata. You know, people who will be loyal to you, people who you feel can work with you, the technocrats, the experts, you know, the politicians, the people you feel can work with you. Probably that's the reason. But then, at least among everyone appointed by Fubara, there should be one or two persons that are capable, that should be able to handle one or two offices. But then, firing all of them, I think IBAS know the reason best. I don't know why. And I know a lot of Nigerians may be asking questions. But then, I think a military officer is always a military officer, and he would want to have people who he can work with in his cabinet. All right, moving away from there, finally from the Nation's newspaper this morning, this one says, as a matter of fact, only 1% of rich Nigerians pay tax. Are you serious? Only 1% of rich Nigerians pay tax. As someone says something, I think I should find time to interview someone so we can talk about that, because we actually talked about tax here when the tax bill was being passed, and so many eyebrows, people saying so many things. But the question is, who really pay tax in Nigeria? Who really pay tax? The poor man or the big man, the rich man, the people in governance? See, the way it happens in other climes, like in Europe and in other places, whatever you have, some people even pay taxes on the number of cars they have. Not like Nigeria, that someone will have a car park and does not even know how many cars he or she have, because there are so many parked in different mansions around the country. This, well, I think somebody like the Minister of FCT can do something like that, because one of the things that Nigerians have actually frowned at is owning as many mansions, as many cars, as many businesses, and you're not paying tax for them, or maybe you are evading tax. I think this is one of the things that should be looked into seriously. I heard in the time past that some lands were revoked, you know, some buildings, you know, the paper to some properties were being revoked by the FCT minister. And if you want to look at it critically, you will discover that some of these houses, some of these lands are lands gotten maybe by power, grabbing, you know, because people are in authority. This is what should be done in Nigeria. Everyone, especially the rich, should be meant to pay tax, because that's what we use. That is what the people in government use to develop the country, because we're talking about national development here. You know, the social amenities that we're crying for. This is the kind of money that should be used to put those social amenities in place. All right, let's move to the next paper. The next paper writes, before me here is the Nigerian News Direct, and on the Nigerian News Direct, above the name, okay, below the nameplate, the Senate confirmed Bello orders for AMCON board. Senate confirmed Bello orders for AMCON board. Which of the Bello are we talking about? Is it the Kogi State Governor? I'll leave it to you. Pick a copy of the papers and go through it. On page 6, you'll get to know which of the Bello. FY 2024 customer deposits surged by 45%. As Zenith Bank posts over 1 trillion naira PAT. Airtel donates 1 billion naira to support federal government's 3 MTT program. Now to the big story. Jubilation as NYSC begins 77,000 payments to core members. Congratulations to all the core members. I think your cry has been heard. And I saw in one paper where it was being said that the core member that criticized the president was not going to be reprimanded. She's not going to be arrested. I saw that and I was like, yes, this is true democracy. And this is a president that knows exactly what he's doing. Because criticism sometimes, especially when people are frustrated, you know, they do a lot of things. That lady may have said that out of frustration. No one knows exactly what she was facing at that point in time. Some persons go as far as committing suicide because of situations, and some persons voice out their situations as the case may be. But no matter what, our criticisms of people in authority should be constructive. All right, that's it. Congratulations to all the core members. Details read on page 3. Your 77,000 minimum wage is coming to you live and direct. A local healthcare sector gets boost as customs waive import duty on pharmaceutical raw materials. A federal government brokers peace as Osun secures shareholding in Segilola. Federal government brokers peace as Osun secures shareholding in Segilola. Details on page 22, and of course that's going to be the size of the headlines from the Nigerian News Direct. Which paper do we have next? The Blueprints newspaper. Let's see how blue these headlines are. This one is above the nameplate. It says, all right, it says 70% TB Global Fund supported countries facing budget shortfall, according to reps. 70% tuberculosis Global Fund supported countries facing budget shortfall. That's reps saying that. Then this one says Natasha Gates, INEC notify Akpoti Oduagan of recall petition. Okay. Right. This one says Super Eagles to face Russia, Ghana in June friendlies. I think a lot of people are even angry with the Super Eagles right now. I don't know if people are really going to watch that match. Osimhen was so angry because his effort was being frustrated. A lot of Nigerians even made statements before the end of that game. You know, getting a goal and there was nobody else to net another goal, and that one goal couldn't be defended, spoke volume. All right, it speaks volume, and of course it's not his fault that he's angry. This one says Ibok Ete orders Rivers local government heads to submit council reports. Ex-chairman visit Fubara. All right, now to the big story. Constitution review. Reps poised to strip VP, governors, deputies of immunity. One rider to that story. Pass 44 alteration bills for second reading. Recommended 6 new states so far. Reason says Shetima to judiciary. Don't submit to blackmail but sustain integrity and rule of law. Some riders to that story, it says CJN Kekere Ekum task body of benchers on reforms, discipline enforcement. This one says Tunji Ojo laments incarceration of 26,000 kids. Idel Fitri, federal government declares March 31st and April 1st as public holiday to celebrate Eid el-Fitr. Alright, details read on page 6. EFCC rearrange suspects over 2.2 billion naira oil subsidy fraud. And this one says trade foreign investment surge under Tinubu's reform. That's coming from initiative. Petron advises Nigerians against panic buying, says NNPCL sustaining supply. Don't do panic buying. We don't want to see queues because there is enough fuel. Now to the Vanguard Guardian newspaper, which is going to be the last paper to be taken on The review this morning, and at the top of the hour, 8 o'clock, we'll bring you the AM news. But before then, Rivers, that's the kicker. Don't extend emergency rule beyond 6 months. Council tells Tinubu, when some persons are saying the 6 months is even too much. All right, this quiet as police probe alleged infiltration of National Assembly by Russian KGB. Disquiet as police probe alleged infiltration of National Assembly by Russian KGB. Over 26,000 children in prisons, says minister. Over 26,000 children in prisons, says minister. A court dismissed fraud case against Xenox chairman and others. Local research output lacks depth for national planning, says Olaupa. All right, and of course, the big story says national automotive policy in limbo. 136 billion naira investment stalled. And this one says a concern over a spate of constitutional amendments delay state police bill. And Natasha in Senate, an error we are set to correct. Constituent insists. Natasha in Senate is an error we are set to correct. Constituents insist. All right, moving away from there, hope for cheaper drugs as federal government exempt duty VAT on pharmaceutical raw materials. Shetima urges judiciary to uphold justice and integrity. That's the vice president. Then moving away from there, concerns over a spate of constitutional amendments delay state police bill. All right, and that's the size of the headlines from the Guardian newspaper this morning. We are going on a quick break. After the break, we'll return again at the top of the hour, 8 o'clock, for the AM news. Stay with us.
That global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world.
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime, to AM News on Global Television. I comment to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ramsey Enoch. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. You can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. The Pan Niger Delta Forum has addressed deep gratitude to President Bola Tinubu for signing the South-South Development Commission bill into law, a move the group described as historic and pivotal for the region's growth. In a statement issued by PANDEP's national chairman, Cognos Balade, the forum commended the President and the National Assembly for expediting the legislative process, ensuring the timely passage of the bill. The group urged President Tinubu to appoint competent and experienced individuals to lead the newly established commission, ensuring it effectively complements the effort of state governments in driving sustainable development. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has declared that he is uncertain about his 2027 presidential ambition. Atiku, who has contested for the presidency 6 times, made the remark in an interview with Adesua Giwa Osage. His remarks came a few days after he announced the formation of a coalition of opposition leaders aiming to overthrow the President Bola Tinubu's led All Progressive Congress (APC) government. The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja set aside actions previously delivered against the reinstatement of Muhammadu Sanusi II as the 6th Emir of Kano State. Subsequently, the Appellate Court, upon acknowledging the transition of the case record to the Supreme Court, directed all interested parties to exercise caution pending the hearing of their appeals at the Apex Court. In a unanimous ruling delivered by a 3-member panel of justices presided over by Justice Biombele Abraham, Judge Will, the court accepted the withdrawal of the application filed by the Kano State government following the transmission of the record of appeal to the Supreme Court. The House has passed 38 other bills seeking to alter the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended and provided various amendments in the ongoing constitutional amendment exercise by the 10th Assembly, and also passed a bill seeking the creation of additional states across the country. The 42 bills categorized on the various headings to reflect their focus were passed after their presentation for the second reading at the plenary by the House Leader, Rep. Julius Ibhuevre, and seconded by the House Minority Leader, Rep. Kingsley Chinda. The House of Representatives has approved a bill seeking to accommodate Lagos State's 27 Development Area Council as full-fledged local government areas, that is LGAs. If enacted into law, this will increase the total number of LGAs in the state from 20 to 57. The bill, which was among the 42 constitutional amendment bill passed, was sponsored by Honorable James Abiodun Faleke, representing Ikeja Federal Constituency, Honorable Babajimi Benson, representing Ikorodu Federal Constituency, and Honorable Eniton Dolapo Badio, Lagos Island Federal Constituency, alongside 19 other lawmakers. A bill to remove immunity conferred on the Vice President, governors and their deputies have scaled second reading in the House of Representatives. The bill aimed to curb corruption, eradicate immunity, and enhance accountability in public offices. Aside the bill, 39 constitutional amendment bills also scaled second reading. The Chief Judge of Katsina State, Justice Musa Danladi, has granted bail to 103 inmates and discharged 3 others on health grounds, prolonged detention, age, and good conduct while in custody. The exercise was part of the first quarter of the 2025 jail delivery initiative aimed at decongesting correctional facilities in the state. Justice Danladi had delegated his authority to High Court Judge Justice A.B. Babawale to oversee the exercise at the minimum security custodian center in Katsina, New. The Nigerian government has finally commenced the payment of the new 77,000 Naira monthly allowance for National Youth Service Corps, that's NYSC members. It was confirmed that the several corps members received credit alerts reflecting the increased stipend, putting an end to the long-standing delay that has sparked frustration and protest. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan has submitted an affidavit to the Senate Ethics Committee as supporting evidence in her petition against Senate President Godswill Akpabio. She had accused Akpabio of sexual harassment, abuse of office, and obstruction of legislative duties. The Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress in Zamfara State have given the state government 14 days ultimatum to address the irregularities in the implementation of the 70,000 Naira minimum wage. The leaders of Zamfara chapter of NLC and TUC gave the ultimatum at a news conference in Gusau after an emergency meeting. You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime. When News Prime returns, NBA plans to review European League proposal. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break.
know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world.
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Welcome back. Now from the world of business, the Petroleum Product Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria has kicked against the sale of petroleum products in the Nigerian market in dollars by Dangote Refinery. The national president of Petron, Billy Grills-Harry, made this known in a statement. His comment comes as Dangote Refinery on Wednesday last week decided to suspend petroleum product sales in Naira. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Olayemi Cardoso, says the bank is beginning to see signs of progress in stabilizing the foreign exchange market and curbing inflation as recent policy reforms start to yield results. Cardoso stated this during an engagement with scholars from the Harvard Kennedy School at the CBN headquarters in Abuja. Oil services firm Zomac Nigeria Limited has sued the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) for 4.1 billion naira, accusing it of gross negligence over a disputed receivership. In a suit before Justice Akintoye Aloko of the Federal High Court, Lagos, Zomac alleged that CBN failed in its duty to supervise banks and protect customers. The company claimed it was placed in receivership for 20 years over a fabricated debt, despite repaying over 547 million naira to First City Monument Bank, that is FCMB. And now on the foreign scene, Israeli forces have killed at least 12 people in Gaza since the early hours, including a mother, her 6-month-old baby, and 4 other children. Israeli military also continue bombing Syria, killing at least 6 people in Deria and drawing condemnation from Qatar and Saudi Arabia. The U.S. keeps up its bombardment of Yemen as top official of Yemen also face scrutiny for sharing military plans with a journalist in a group chat on the Signal messaging app. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu threatened to seize parts of Gaza if Hamas does not release hostages, while the militant group warned they would return in coffins if Israel does not stop bombing of Palestinian territory. Just over a week since the military resumed operation following January truce, Israel said 2 projectiles were fired from Gaza Strip, with one intercepted and the other landing near the border, and with no immediate report of any casualties or damage. Ukraine and Russia accuse one another of floating a truce of energy strike brokered by the United States, and conditions set by Russia caused doubt over a planned ceasefire in the Black Sea. Recall that the United States announced separate agreements with Ukraine and Russia on Tuesday to pause their strike in the Black Sea and against each other's energy target, but the rhetoric from Morocco and Moscow and Kyiv suggested they remain far apart. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky says the U.S. side told Kyiv the deal were effective as soon as they were announced. And now from the world of sport, the NBA is to review a proposal to create a European Basketball League. A spokesperson confirmed after a report detailed a new competition that could feature up to 10 teams. Sports business news website Sportico said league owners will consider a plan that includes 8 to 10 franchises, including up to 4 teams, who already played in the European League Europe Top Club competition. The proposed league would also feature new franchises in cities such as London and Paris, which could be worth as much as $500 million. Sportico reported, citing a source with direct knowledge of the plans. Nigerian defender Ola Aina is reportedly willing to renew his contract with Nottingham Forest despite interest from Liverpool, Chelsea and Manchester City. Forest have been given a boost in their quest to keep Aina as he is willing to extend his stay at the City ground. The EPL side have been in advanced discussions to extend Aina's contract, whose current deal expired at the end of the current season. He joined them from Italian side Torino in summer of 2023 for just €3.50 million. The Nigerian Chess Federation has announced that it will host the International Chess Federation Zone 4.2 Championship for the first time in Lagos this year. From March 31st to April 9, the FDI Zone 4.2 Chess Championship will bring together 12 West African nations in a fierce showdown for regional supremacy at the Kati Heights Luxury Hotel in Ikeja. Nigerian's Abdurrahim Akintoye is the defending champion of the tournament after he produced a splendid performance and supremacy at the 2024 edition held in Monrovia, Liberia. As Global TV News come to an end, we want to also remind you that Global Television is on all social media platforms. You can subscribe to all our social media platforms. And as a matter of fact, kindly follow us across all those social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @Global TV NG. Remember that you can also download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thank you for watching.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world.
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Hello and welcome to another beautiful time. Welcome from that news. DM News just came your way up just to inform you, to keep you abreast of things happening around. You know, that's what we do on Global Television. Now let's go to the first discussion of today. The immunity striping the vice president, the governor, and deputies of their immunity is something that has been making some form of, people have been raising some form of eyebrow. There were reactions even on the National Daily this morning as regards that. But then there are reasons. You know, we've had a lot of people enjoying some form of immunity directly or indirectly in Nigeria, and that has done us, I don't know, maybe more good than harm, or more harm than good, as the case may be, depending on the individual and how individuals are being affected by it. Today we have an expert that's going to be talking about it. Of course, he is my guest today. Is someone that is so vast. He's a political analyst, and of course he's a communist. He's been on this show before, and one thing about him is the fact that he's so objective. Joining me on the conversation today is Jide Ojo. It's good to have you join us on the conversation this morning.
It's my pleasure, Ramsey. I wish you well. It's been a while, but I'm glad to be on your show.
Thank you very much. All right, we're looking at the immunity. Well, at the National Assembly, the bill, about a number of bills were passed, and the issue of immunity for the vice president, the governor, and of course deputies. First of all, do you see that as a welcome development?
It is not.
Why do you think so?
It's not. Okay, so I am of the considered view that that's not our priority at this moment. It's just an act of grandstanding. This is a bill that is dead on arrival. Nigeria's House of Reps have been toying with a lot of ideas on issues of constitutional alteration. And I think they are going about it, permit me to use the word, the wrong way. Now they want to first have it passed through normal legislative processes. So each bill is taken as a private member bill, because this is not an executive bill in any event. We need to know that. So this is a private member bill that is sponsored by different members of the House of Reps, and now they said it has passed the first reading and second reading. It's just to generate all this furore that is needless. This is not what we need at this point in time in our national life. Now, let's face the fact. You want to strip the vice president, the governor and deputy governors of immunity. How does that help the cause of Nigeria? Ramsey, I tell you for free that Nigeria is a highly litigious society. If this crop of leaders don't have immunity, they will be going to court every other day. People will be filing frivolous lawsuits, and then they will say, okay, we want the president to come to the court as a witness, the vice president as a... No! The framers of our constitution, and this is not peculiar to Nigeria, it's a global phenomenon. The president, vice president, governor, and deputy governors are always given immunity. Now, we need to understand that this immunity is not a blanket immunity. Immunity from prosecution, not from investigation, not from allegation. Am I communicating? The immunity is that while they can be investigated, but they cannot be prosecuted until when they have left office. Now, I recall that when the immediate past governor of Anambra State, Chief Willie Obiano, when he handed over to Soludo 3 years ago, he handed over at around 12 noon. That same day he was to travel out of the country. At Murtala Mohammed International Airport, that same day he was apprehended by EFCC. 3 years down the line, has the man been convicted? Is he still having immunity? Several governors from 2003, 2007, 2011, 2015, 2019, 2023, several governors whose tenures have passed, how many of them have been successfully prosecuted by EFCC? So why the haste that you have to ensure that while they are in office you want them to be prosecuted? What is the need? Why can't you wait? Keep your gunpowder dry. If it's about fighting corruption, when EFCC was grandstanding under, I think it was Magu or whoever was the EFCC chairman then, that they have weighty evidences and exhibits against Ayo Fayose, the governor of Ekiti State then. He told them, he said, look, I will come and meet you after my tenure. Don't harass me. Ayo Fayose have left the governor's seat almost 8 years ago. Has he been sent to jail? Ayo Fayose is still walking free. What is all the grandstanding? We want to do is strip them of immunity so that we can fight corruption, so that there will be accountability. That is the wrong way to go. And let me assure you, Ramsey, let me tell you, you can take this to the bank. That bill is dead on arrival. That bill is dead on arrival. Because while it may pass, and I doubt it actually will pass the final stage, because what people are reporting now is that, it has passed second stage, second reading. Second reading is nothing. There are so many bills that are passed, even third reading, that eventually does not make it.
All right. Well, that's it. That the bill is dead on arrival because why not wait until they leave office? But then some Nigerians are saying, I don't know if you can hear me. Some Nigerians are saying that this immunity in the past have made people who have this immunity to do and undo. All right. And before they get in, they leave the office. Before they leave the office, situation like that dies down. Like talking about them being prosecuted after leaving office. What if whatever they are doing may lead to loss of life? Lives may have been lost already. So as it is right now, don't you think the immunity, according to what Nigerians are saying, is just too much? Because it's making some of these people in authority to do and undo, especially politicians. Some people even want to get into that position because of the immunity alone. Can you hear me? All right, let's go on a quick break. After this break, we'll return and we'll continue with the conversation.
know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world.
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
It's good to have you back. We had a little network issue. Now, I was asking a question before that actually happened. Some people feel that this immunity clause has done more harm than good to Nigerians and, of course, administration, because some persons who have this immunity go ahead to do things, all right, not minding that the people who they are governing need to be responsible, that they don't know they need to be responsible to the people. You see people acting across board, above board, because they have immunity.
That's what I'm telling you, Ramsey. You see, immunity is not a license to kill, maim, and destroy. Your immunity is not forever. It's only for maximum of 8 years. And don't forget, immunity is only conferred on 4 categories of persons: the president, the vice president, the governor, the deputy governor. Haven't you seen that despite the immunity that these people enjoy, deputy governors are still randomly being impeached? Even the governor of Rivers State, maybe by now will have been impeached, but for the state of emergency that was declared last week. What I'm telling you is that people are just not, they've not been able to appraise the weight of what is called immunity. I've told you, immunity is just against prosecution while you are in office. Immunity does not stop investigation. The whole essence of having immunity in place is that so that there will be no distraction by this category of people when they are governing, when they are in government. So you don't want the president and vice president, governor and deputy governor to be are summoned to court every other day or week because of one allegation or the other. Now, after 8 years that you are a governor or president or vice president or deputy governor, you are going to be made to face whatever atrocities you have done while in office. Okay, Obasanjo have left the presidency of Nigeria since 2007. That is how many years ago? Is it not 18 years ago? 2007. All those who are alleging that Obasanjo is corrupt, Obasanjo is this, Obasanjo declared state of emergency, Obasanjo declared that the military should go and level up OT and Zakimbia. Why have they not prosecuted Obasanjo since 18 years that he left office? We have had Goodluck Jonathan has left office. He no longer has immunity since about 10 years ago when he left office in 2015. 10 years ago exactly. Why has there been no allegation or prosecutions against him? So what I'm saying is that those who are saying, oh, remove immunity clause so that these people, it doesn't make them to be well behaved. See, people who do not have immunity, don't they perpetrate atrocities? People who are, even the lawmakers who don't have immunity, the senators, the House of Reps members, the State House of Assembly members, even speakers and President of Senate and speakers of House of Reps and State House of Assembly, do they have immunity? How many of them have been sent to jail for one allegation or the other? Their assumption is that, oh, because they have immunity, that's why they can do and undo. I don't subscribe to that. It's our judicial system that needed to be overhauled. When you are making criminal allegation against a person, you who alleges must prove, and you just cannot prove, you must prove beyond reasonable doubt. So when people say, oh, this person committed sexual harassment, this person is a rapist, this person is a fraud, this person is corrupt, those are allegations. Even you and I, who are ordinary citizens, are there people not alleging one thing or the other against us? Does that make it true? That's why the judiciary says it is part of our jurisprudence. It is not enough to allege somebody committed an atrocity. You have to prove under a criminal jurisprudence, you must prove beyond reasonable doubt. And that does not just apply to president, vice president, governor, or deputy governor. It applies to every citizen. So when you make criminal allegations, you must be ready to prove your case in court. So I'm saying, coming back to this law, this bill, is dead on arrival. You can take it to the bank. That bill is dead on arrival. The Senate of Nigeria will not pass it, even if the House of Reps pass it. And if the House of Reps and the Senate passed it, because it's a constitutional alteration bill, it will not sail through the state assemblies. You know that for any constitutional alteration bill, you must also get 2/3 of the state houses of assembly, and 2/3 of 36 is 24. How will you get 24 states to back this bill, even if it is passed by the National Assembly? Unless the governors are interested in it passing through. I've gone through many of the bills. All those bills that they are saying 42 bills have scaled second reading, 30-something bills, it's all part of the grandstanding of the National Assembly. When many of these same bills that are making it back into the current 10th Assembly were passed in previous constitutional alteration that were not assented to. This issue of separating the office of Attorney General from Attorney General of the Federation, Attorney General of the state, from Commissioner and Minister of Justice, it has been previously passed. The issue of separating the office of Accountant General of the Federation from Accountant General of the federal government or stuff. Many of these bills were passed in 2018. were passed in 2023, but the president did not assent to them. Many of the bills that they said as past security are state creation bills. How do you think any state can be created under this current dispensation? When you go through what the constitutional alteration process is. So the House of Reps are just catching cruise. They are just catching cruise. They just want to do things that will make people to say, oh, they are working, they are responsible. They all now wash. I can tell you for free. I've monitored constitutional alteration process from 2000 and from the first successful one was in 2010. That was 15 years ago. I've monitored the one of 2010, the one of 2014 that Goodluck Jonathan did not sign, the one of 2018, the one of 2023. All these things, you can pass 50 constitutional alteration bills. The buck stops at the table of the president. And if the Attorney General of the Federation advised the president not to sign, you will see that all your efforts in producing those bills are just wasted effort. So many of the things that is gaining traction in the media space, where they say, oh, they have passed 50 bills have passed second reading, and so what? It doesn't make anything. I will only take them serious when these same 50 bills pass the third and final reading after the public hearing, and then there is concurrence from the State Assembly, from the Senate, and then there is also an harmonized position, harmonized version, and then it's sent to the state, and the state also concord. And those are in stages, and I tell you for free, many of these bills will fall by the wayside. Many of them will not get the concurrence of the Senate, and if they do get concurrence of the Senate, they may be shut down at the State Assembly level. And if they don't get shut down at the State Assembly level, they will be shut down by the president, who has the final authority to sign or not to sign many of the bills. We know over 30 bills make it to the final stage under Buhari in 2023. How many of it did he sign? Many of them are not even, they are just correction of spelling of local government and all of that, which doesn't carry much weight. So let's talk something serious. This whole stripping of immunity is just a wash. It's just grandstanding. It's not going to, it's a motion without movement. It's not going to make any difference. Because the problem is not about these people having immunity. The problem really is about our governance system and how powerful individuals occupy office and appropriate that office and personalize it. And you know, it's not about immunity. If you have money, tons of money.
All right, Mr. Jide, let me comment at this point.
You can do anything and get away with it.
Can you hear me?
Only answering office.
All right, let me ask, because you made mention of the judiciary while you were saying, we were mentioning names of people that were supposedly to be prosecuted after leaving office. And you said the judiciary were supposed to do that. Now, a lot of people have complained about the judiciary. Even this morning, the CJN also complained about the judiciary. Some lawyers, he was specific about some lawyers. Now, how did we get to this level? Why all the noise when these people are in office? Then when the immunity is not there again and nothing is being done. So where did we get it wrong? Where did the judiciary get it wrong? What would you have to say about the Nigerian judiciary? Or you feel it's EFCC that is supposed to do that?
Now, Ramsey, it takes two to tango. Let's be sincere with ourselves. Many of the allegations leveled against governors cannot be substantiated. And let me also tell you part of the frustration that the judiciary faced or the lawyers faced. Let me give you a classical example. The reason why it is very difficult to prosecute successfully the governors who have been accused, for instance, of fraud or corruption is that these people are very smart. They always put their stooges in office when they leave. You know that the Minister of FCT was facing corruption allegations when he was governor of Rivers State.
Reacting to the Senate leaders.
When the current governor was the Accountant General of Rivers State, and he was invited by EFCC, and the state protected him. He was dodging, evading, and all of that. What has come? Nyesom Wike has been out of office for 3 years now. Why has he not been dragged to court for corruption allegations that were leveled against him? Is he still having immunity? Look at what is happening in Kogi State. Yahaya Bello. Yahaya Bello ensured that his cousin is the next governor after him. And you saw how the current governor allegedly aided in the arrest of Yahaya Bello a couple of times before he eventually submitted himself to EFCC. Now, how do you get the cooperation of that state to gather evidence to nail the former governor when it is his cousin that is now in office? Do you get it? Well, and that's what operates across many states. They always ensure that it's either their former chief of staff or the accountant general of the state or somebody who is very close and loyal to them that will take over the reins of office, so that when the FCC comes, they will have, you know, EFCC cannot convict anybody. EFCC can only do so much based on available evidence that they can get. And if the state government is not cooperating, if the state government is not providing the necessary evidences to help the cause of justice, how will EFCC succeed? I'm not saying that those governors who have been alleged to be corrupt are actually corrupt, but I'm also saying that they are also smart to ensure that whoever takes office after them is one of their loyalists who will help to protect them. That's what happened even in Kaduna State. You saw how El-Rufai ensured that Senator Ubasani, who is his loyalist, whom he has helped, he helped him into Senate.
All right, that is Jide Ojo speaking to us right there. Is a political analyst, and of course, if you look at what he's saying, you will get to know that it really takes two to tango. Because before you can prosecute someone, you need to work with some people in his administration. But before these people leave the office, they don't leave stones unturned. And that's part of the reason why these prosecutions should be done while in office. But then if you're removing the immunity for one, I think the immunity should be removed for everyone. But if it is not possible for the immunity to be removed for everyone, I wonder if it will be possible for the immunity to be removed for some. Because as it is right now, he was given an instance of what happened in Kogi State, the Yahaya Bello corruption case that EFCC was after him until he presented himself. It must have to take the cooperation of the new governor of a particular state for you to investigate a former governor. So the successor would need to bring out details. But then before these people leave the office, they make sure they are in good terms with the people, maybe the accountant, maybe their deputy or whoever. They will make sure whoever succeeds them will be someone that is loyal. That's what my guest is establishing. All right, over to you. Jide, it's good to have you back. All right, as it is, Our guest will be joining us any moment, and of course we're looking at the immunity, the impact of immunity. Some persons have really complained that instead of leadership to be servanthood, people get into office, and because of the immunity they feel like semi-gods. They do and undo, and before they leave this office they will not leave any stone unturned. They know that yes, what they did while in office is not in order, that EFCC or the judiciary may come after them, or that certain people in the society may sue them. Then before you know it, they try to cover the loopholes. They put people who will be able to defend them. Look at what happened in Rivers State now, as Fubara is going on suspension. The new the sole administrator will need, he removed everyone in Fubara's cabinet. You know, every appointees of Fubara is being removed, meaning no stone is left unturned. Whatever he wants to do there as an administrator, he will be able to do it. But what if we have Fubara's loyalists, all right, still in his cabinet? There are some things that he may not be able to investigate. So these people, before they leave the office, they don't leave stones unturned. They even install people that will defend whatever evil they've done while in office. But making yourself a mini god because you think there is an immunity seems to be the best, and doesn't portray the real democracy that we practice in Nigeria. Over to you. It's good to have you back.
Yeah, I am Ramsey. Sorry for the breaking transmission. What I'm trying to say is that, see, we can rant all we want. It doesn't change the facts on ground. This is a highly litigious society. People will make claims, but they may not be able to substantiate those claims. And it is a global phenomenon. All over the world, in America, people will make claims, oh, this person is corrupt, this person is this, is that, is that. When they say, where are the proofs? Bring the proofs. You cannot bring the proof. And that's why our jurisprudence says, if you are making criminal allegation against somebody, be sure of your facts. The court is not a Father Christmas that will just give you what you didn't ask for. And the court will also not look kindly to you just making flimsy allegations without proof. There are two ingredients. There are two ingredients you need to prove your criminal allegations. And I'm staying on criminal allegations for a reason. Because if it's civil case, you know, it may not generate so much you have. Now, two things you need to prove a criminal allegation is one, exhibits or evidences, and two, witnesses. You may have exhibits. If you don't have witnesses, it's dead on arrival. Let me put it in context. All the allegations of electoral fraud, why do you think judiciary throws them out? You claim that there are fraud in 1,000 polling units, and you want the court to nullify that election. The court will not nullify that election because our electoral law says unless there is substantial non-compliance, that is the only reason why an election will be nullified. People don't know this. Many of us social commentators don't know this. Many of them have never seen a copy of Electoral Act or the Constitution. But what the law says is that, okay, there are 176,000 polling units. You now said, oh, there are fraud in 1,000 or even in 10,000 polling units. Ramsey, assuming without considering that you can even prove that fraud in 10,000 out of 176,000 polling units, do the ratio. What is the ratio of those places where there are fraud vis-a-vis where the election went smoothly and credibly? So if the law says an election will not be nullified except there is substantial non-compliance, it is simple English. It then means that even if you can prove that there are fraud, oh, there was overvoting in this place, there was third degree of violence in this place, but on the whole, is just like about 10% or 20% of the entire population, voting population, I mean. The court will not nullify that election. But you and I will say, oh, the judiciary has been compromised, that judge has been bribed, that. It's just not sitting. We do not have our facts. And that's why we joined the bandwagon to castigate lawyers, to castigate judiciary, to make claims that are not there. You cannot make criminal allegation against somebody and feel that the person should just be thrown into jail. The due process, and you know, in law, it is said that it's better for 1,000 criminals to go scot-free than for one innocent person to be wrongfully punished. I hope you are listening to me, Ramsey.
Yes, sure.
And it is better for 1,000 criminals to go scot-free than for one innocent person to be wrongfully punished. Why is that? Because law is on the side of justice. So the fact that somebody can wake up and claim that you, Ramsey, raped her.
God forbid.
If no, it's an allegation. God forbid. I'm not saying you did. But somebody can go on social media and say, oh, Ramsey Agbo of Global TV is a rapist. Now, you have a right to sue that person, don't you? You have a right to sue. That, okay, where is that? Where did I know you? Do I even know you? Have I ever met you? Have we ever had intercourse? How dare you malign my name? That is why the law will now say you allege that this person committed this offense. Come and prove your case. Now, when somebody does not have proof, or the person now get to court, they call him or her into a witness box. He now say, my neighbor told me, my son told me. You were not there. You did not witness it. You don't have your facts. So, many a time we are very emotional about all these allegations and things we say on social media, the ranting. I've seen many people who claim that 2023 election was rigged for Bola Tinubu, but they did not even vote. Those people making that allegation may not have even voted in that election, or they may not only have gone beyond their own polling unit. And there are 176,000 polling units, and you are joining them to castigate an election in which you are just a microcosm of an observer. So what I'm saying, let's not leave the substantive issue. I still strongly believe that striping the governor, deputy governor, vice president of immunity is not our priority.
All right.
It is not, because the only thing that they have right now in their favor is that they cannot be prosecuted, not that they cannot be investigated. So prosecuted after their tenure of office. Then let whoever want to prosecute them wait till when they have finished their term of office and then sue them to court to prove his or her allegations. That is my own take on that, my brother.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jide Ojo, for joining us today on the conversation. Finally, before I let you go, I would like to ask this question on behalf of Nigerians, because some Nigerians believe that governance, leadership is servanthood. I don't know what your school of thought about that is, because in every rumor there is an atom of truth. Some persons have been victimized by people in authority because they have that power, because they feel they are on top for certain reasons. We've seen some on social media, like you said. We've heard from people who testify these things in real sense. But then the judiciary, they said, is the last hope of the common man. But right now, some people cannot even afford the judiciary, and some persons don't even believe in the judiciary. So what's your take of the saying that leadership mainly is supposed to be servanthood and not victimization?
Now, we need to unpack that. Leadership being servant, I don't know about that. If you are a leader, you are a leader. You lead. You are not a servant. I remember the former governor of Niger State called himself chief servant. He calls himself chief servant. We also have in Osun State a former governor that calls himself Ogbeni. We have one in Ondo State, late Akeredolu, that calls himself Arakunrin. All of those are just appellations. They are just monikers. They are just alliances that doesn't make any difference. See, leadership is a body. And I don't envy, there is a popular saying that uneasy lies the head that wears crown. You will not know the kind of turmoil that leaders face when they are in office. Because there are different people coming to say things that may not necessarily be true to them. So, issue of victimization, I'm not ruling it out that it does happen, but we cannot just use the same brush to tarnish every governor or every leader. We have seen in other climes where leaders who have previously served, even as prime ministers, as presidents, were dragged to court and sentenced to imprisonment. Look at Jacob Zuma in South Africa. Was Jacob Zuma not sent to prison? After they didn't even allow him to finish his tenure, or maybe he finished, but he was jailed. In France, Francois Mitterrand, a former president of France, was jailed for campaign finance breaches. So currently in Israel, we have even the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, facing criminal allegation. What I'm saying is that if any leader victimizes you, assuming that leader has at that time he victimized you as immunity, wait till when his immunity is over, and then you can file your suit. Once you have credible evidence and you have witnesses, because as I've told you, in court does not listen to emotions. You cannot go and cry to a judge and say, no, he did it. I swear by the name of my grandfather. The court does not listen to that kind of plea. The court will only listen to you based on your evidence and witnesses. So those two ingredients must be there if you want to successfully prosecute a criminal allegation. But whether it's servanthood or leadership, I don't subscribe to leaders being servant. Leaders are just to guide and facilitate and govern. So if you want to refer to them as servants, you are free to do that, but it doesn't make any difference.
All right. Thank you very much, Jide Ojo, for joining us on the conversation this morning, speaking on the impact of immunity on national development. Many thanks for joining us today.
It's my pleasure. Do have a great day. Stay safe and keep blessed.
All right, this is going to be the size of Global Morning's first discussion. We are coming in with the second discussion, where we'll be looking at Natasha's recall. So many matters arising, developing stories from that issue. We'll bring you all of that details after this break, as we'll have a legal practitioner join us to talk about Natasha's recall. Stay with us.
know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world.
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Welcome back from that break. It is still Global Morning live on your screen. As a matter of fact, we have someone here who is a legal practitioner and also he's a public affairs analyst. And we want to talk about Natasha's recall. Remember how it first started from the National Assembly. From that sitting position, it escalated to sexual harassment. From there, it went all the way to UN across the shores of the country. A lot of people have reacted to it. The wife of the Senate president has reacted to this sexual harassment allegation. It's still allegation until otherwise proven. We heard that Natasha went to court. We heard that the Senate president's wife also went to court. But something is making a difference right here, and that is the recall by the people of Kogi Central. Now, what is recall? Today we'll get to know what recall is. Today we'll get to know some of the processes that are involved in recall. Who can do a recall? Some person said, well, recall is not something that is possible in Nigeria. Some people don't even know there is anything like recall. Some persons after today might be biting their finger to say, wow, if we had known 2010, we would have done a recall. 2012, years back, we would have done a recall. But then, I think information is so important, because if you're not informed, you are deformed. And joining me today, like I said, is a professional, someone who knows his onions, a legal practitioner and a public affairs analyst. And he's none other person than Barrister Peterson Ihueze. It's good to have you in the studio today. I have not seen you all through this year. He's been in court, you know, in and out of court, and it's good to have you join us on the conversation today.
It's a pleasure to come back here again.
I know you must have heard about the Natasha saga. Permit me to call it a saga for now. Sure. As a matter of fact, what's your picture of the whole situation before we even get into the discussion today? Because as a matter of fact, we're looking at the recall that came from the Kogi Central people, and why INEC rejected the recall, even though right now it's like the amendment has been done, and they are drawing Natasha's attention to the recall right now as we speak. So on the whole, what do you think about the Natasha saga?
Well, my take on that is Nigerian factor. You know that in this country, everything is possible. And once you are not in line or aligning with the powers that be, there are always issues. You consider, say, okay, what was Natasha's offense? What happened? What transpired? But just like the proverbial saying that if you cannot beat them, you join them. I'm just having a thinking and a view that he's just working or he's just, pit against the powers that be. And this is the processes that follows up. We've seen how she was suspended from the Senate, and we have also seen the drama that happened during the course of her recall. Even when she came back and went to her constituency, she was well welcomed by the constituent. Then proceeding to the submission of the letter of her recall, INEC, coming up again to say that it does not comply with the procedures. Now, INEC coming up again to say that the procedure has been complied, that they will take further action. So, it's a Nigerian factor. But I strongly believe that what are the procedures? Has she done something that warrant her recall? The answer is in the negative, because if you come to the Senate, there are so many senators that she has performed far above them. Of course, we know how she had the antecedent of her coming to the National Assembly, that she came in through the court. She wasn't sworn in when others were sworn in. So, and in fact, one of the Senator Wogosi was saying that Natasha was saying that these women are not giving voice, that she has already moved 6 bills. So you now ask other senators, have they been able to do that? They have been there since the inception of this National Assembly. So I want to strongly believe, even her reaching to the constituent, of course, before now we see how she reached to the constituent and ensure that the constituent got a dividend of democracy. So I strongly believe that Natasha is not the problem of Nigeria, and Natasha is not the problem of Senate, and Natasha is not the problem of Kogi State, but it's just an unfortunate situation.
All right, it's just an unfortunate situation. Natasha is not the problem of Nigeria. That's that one for me. Natasha is not the problem of Nigeria. She's not the problem of Kogi State, more so that she came in through the court, meaning she got there legally. All right, now let's look at the recall. We've been saying recall. Some persons are just saying, which one is recall again? So can you open our eyes to what a recall is?
Okay, a recall is a process whereby a member of the legislature is, let me use the word, brought back or removed from her seat or her position of office. Just like in executive, we have impeachment, where you impeach the president, when you impeach the governor, when you impeach the vice president, when you impeach the deputy governor. But for you to remove a member of course, we know that their leaders can also be, impeached and all that. But for you to, recall is one of the ways where a member of the legislature will lose his seat and cease to become a member of that house. So, of course, there are laid down procedures that will follow through that. That will be done by the constituent, writing a petition, signing, acknowledging, writing their details, writing where they come from. More than 50% of the registered voter in that particular senatorial district, if it's a member of the Senate, if it's a member of House of Reps, within that federal constituency, then if it is State House of Assembly, within the constituency, signing a petition that they wish that the member representing them should be recalled back from the legislative house. So that's the process. That's what the recall is.
And that's what the Kogi Central people are doing right now. Then what do INEC need to do if the recall, because from what we heard, was it up to 48 hours? They said there were some inconsistency in the in the address. Yes. Okay, now I don't know. And the signature.
INEC has said that they have written them back, explaining and giving details of those things that were not there ab initio, so that they have give them the address, their phone number, and their signature, that it has complied with the requirement of the law. That's INEC position as at yesterday.
All right, that's INEC's position.
The director of voters register.
But constitutionally, as a lawyer, as a legal practitioner, constitutionally, do you see what Natasha is doing as being wrong? Because the issue, the problem started from a sitting position before it escalated to sexual scandal, sexual harassment. What she's doing, then the case went to court, then she went as far as crossing the border, okay, to the UN and all of that. What do you think of her moves?
Well, my take over that is that she overbloated the situation, okay, because we have procedures, also we have territorial integrity, we also have legislative immunity and integrity. So she overbloated the situation. Even if there are laid down procedures, that's the problem that he has with the Senate. We can't be doing something in the Senate. There is a laid down procedure. You jump the Senate procedure and went to court. From there, you are granting public interview. You went to media house, castigated the number 3 citizen. So they see it as an affront because there is no institution that will not protect its own. So the legislature Senate cannot just allow her to continue to disparage the Senate because they say an injury to one is an injury to all. So what the Senate did was to take step, to stop her from such moves that she's doing. So for me, her position wasn't the procedure. Most times she may have a good case, but the procedure that you take may not be right. So she has a good case. Of course, it's an allegation. Any person can make any allegation. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong, but the procedure that she followed was outrightly wrong. I don't subscribe to that.
Oh, okay. You don't subscribe to that. Let's look at the Senate now. A former senator, Senate President even Saraki, had made a statement in the past that this is not all about the institution, not all about the individuals, not all about the Senate President, not all about Natasha Aseba. It is about the institution. And from your last statement, you are saying something in that direction too. Now, as it is, don't you think it is time for the Senate President, the federal government to intervene and calm down the situation, because this is not putting Nigeria on a good light at all on the global map, on the world as a whole?
Well, remember that we have separation of powers. In as much as there is checks and balances, there is intertwining of powers and duties. The executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, they are independent. The judiciary and the legislature is independent, and the legislature has also taken steps to solve their problem. By what did they do? They take steps to suspend the senator, okay, and not just suspended. In fact, I watched the proceedings. Not even one single voice was in her favor, which means that the legislature was all in agreement of her behavior and of her modus operandi, or her way of attending to the issue, or challenging or venting her right. So the legislature has done enough. There is something that the executive will do now. It will, of course, disparage that concept of independence of judiciary. And I strongly believe that it is only when the legislature that cannot handle it that they may call for further help. So what I'm saying is that we have laid down procedures. What happened is not beyond the legislature. There are procedures. There is public hearing. There is investigation panel. So let those procedures be exhausted. Then the next step will be taken. That's my take on that.
All right. Let's get back to Kogi Central right now. Do you think there are some persons pushing for this? Because Natasha, so far, like you said, has not done badly.
Very well.
All right, in her constituency. Yes. We saw videos making rounds, some videos when she was giving out things to her constituency. This very Senate President, empowerment, when she was empowering her constituency, this very Senate President was even in attendance for some of these occasions. And even during this Ramadan, she has also done something, giving out grains to the people. This recall coming from the constituency, do you see some form of undertone? Some persons, some things are trying to play out. Remember, first of all, she wasn't the one that some people gave this seat, but she got it by the power of the law. The judiciary came in and she won it from the court. Don't you think that those powers are still fighting, or what do you think is this scenario all about, the recall of a thing?
Just like I said, before now that if you want to kill your dog, you target a name, right? You know, just like what we said, the court declared that she was the rightful winner of the election, which means ab initio she won the election, but some powers that be did not allow her to proceed. And what I understand is that the whoever that she's fighting against, or whoever that is against her interest, just activated those elements, those factors that are working against her in her constituency. Okay, and that was how they were able to, you know, get what they want. Although I said that they've gotten more than 50% of registered voters, so I don't know whether right or wrong. That you know, I wasn't there to, but whatever it is, I strongly believe that it's not easy to recall a legislator, a member of the legislature, or because since 1999 we have never had such experience. But let's see how it goes. There is always the first. But I wish her well, and I pray that she will come out of it.
All right, let's look at the activity of the National Assembly as a whole. What's your assessment of the activities at the National Assembly? Just a few days ago, we saw the occultation between a senator and, of course, Eze Kwesili, the former minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You know, and some persons are of the opinion that no matter what, a senator is a senator and shouldn't go that far, whether offended or not. But generally, what's your assessment of the National Assembly? We've had not just this allegation, we've had people who spoke out in the past that were being suspended. You know, we've had a lot of things about the National Assembly. You as an individual and as a legal practitioner, what's your assessment of the National Assembly? Not just this National Assembly, but National Assembly in Nigeria as a whole.
Okay, well, National Assembly, they are there, and I want to, if we are doing comparative analysis between this 9th Assembly, right?
Yes, and the 10th and the 8th.
This one is 9th, right?
This one,
okay, the 10th. Right?
Yes.
Okay. You know, remember that what the former Senate President said? He said the immediate past. He said that Buhari should, anything that Buhari brings, that they will approve it. So, and also one of them said that he helped some of them to win elections. So that the Senate is another case study. Okay, then this one now, and this is what happened when you have a president that goes out of his way to ensure that his man wins as the Senate president. You understand? And even this state of emergency that was declared in Rivers State, we saw what happened. When there are such constitutional issues, you don't do voice vote. But because these people are hypnotized, they are engrossed with the executive. They are just, I don't want to say that they are rubber stamp, but that's what it looks like. So you don't expect checks and balance. You don't expect much independence from them. Okay? Because Arthur Zeribe once said, he said, if you want to have one dormant Senate president, that the Senate is entitled to be dormant. But when you have one active Senate president, that the Senate is entitled will be active. We record the days of Saraki when Buhari will bring President Buhari, former President Buhari will bring loan application for approval. He will reject it. But I don't. Since after his days, I haven't seen. This is where checks and balances are working. They will say there is no working out plan of repayment, and we are in debt. Even the money I want to borrow, there is no any plan of investment, real investment on this money. So, but after the days of Saraki, you know, I don't. Well, I score them below 50%. But let's see what they are doing in the constitutional amendment. Anyway, let's see.
You said something. You said something. What are the things that the Senate will do that will make people think they are rubber stamped? You just mentioned one now, because at the press briefing, you know, there is a coalition coming up. Atiku, El-Rufai, and a host of others are trying to form a coalition. And I was in that press conference, and El-Rufai said something. He said, regarding the state of emergency, the only thing the Senate will do to disabuse the heart of the people that they are not rubber stamp is to go against the state of emergency declared in Rivers State. You know, what are the things that make people think, okay, a National Assembly, especially the Senate President, is a rubber stamp Senate President? Because a lot of people are saying it's everywhere. People are saying it, and it's not proven.
Okay. Well, the Senate, we have never heard of any investigation going on, because one of the functions of the legislature is to check the activities of the executive. Then, and one of the functions of criminal justice is to deter people from committing crime. Since the session of this Senate, we have never heard that the Senate has investigated this director of this, or this minister, or this, or on earth, even when one was even on earth, the woman from Cross River State. Nothing was done. We have never seen this Senate being hard on the executive to sit up, because if you don't disturb people, people don't do their work. You need to sit up and check the executive. They're excessive. They are. Does it mean that there is no corruption? Does it mean that the budget is implemented as budgeted? Does it mean that there is no budget padding and all that? Let the National Assembly come up with programs that will make the executive sit up. That is where checks and balance will be in operation. And we have never seen that. And all the executive bill that sent to the National Assembly is just garbage in, garbage out. They will just approve and approve and approve without even, taking a look at it from another perspective. So what we are saying is that to whom much is given, much is expected. We are expecting the Senate in its entirety, or the National Assembly comprising the Senate and the House of Representatives. Let them do well to do what is expected from them. Let there be more checks on the executive activities so that people will stand up and do their work.
Were you comfortable with the uproar between Nwebonyi and Ezekwesili?
It's uncalled for. It's uncalled for. There should be a maturity. There should be an approach. There's a level that we reach in life. Nwebonyi says he told her to shut. In fact, I watched a clip of the person sitting beside Nwebonyi before Obiokwe. He said there was a comment by the chairman of the Senate committee, and Nwebonyi responded to it, and Obiokwe says shut up. So it's not done. She made a mistake, and I expected her to apologize, because to err is human, and to, if you can go up to your mistake, no one that is above mistake. So, but I pray that such will not happen again. There are people that we're looking up to. So doing such a thing is not a national television. It doesn't go down well.
All right, we're still talking about building the image of the country, and Natasha recall matters arising and developing stories coming from that axis. Going back to Kogi State now, the Kogi Central have written to the INEC, that's Independent and National Electoral Commission, that Natasha should be withdrawn, should be removed from the Senate, that they made a mistake in the first instance sending her there, whereas it was the court that actually cleared her to become the Senate, to become a senator, even though she was really voted for. It was on that premises that she became the senator. Now the question is this: if she's been recalled, even though we know it has not happened since 1999, and peradventure it happens now, what will happen to the people of Kogi North Central? Because as it is right now, for these 6 months, they don't have anyone representing them, even though she is still meeting up with some of her constituent projects that she is already embarking on. What will happen to the people of Kogi Central now that she's not there, and if she's been removed?
Okay, well, the court has held severally that the leadership of the House does not have power to suspend the legislature, because there are procedures wherein a member of the legislature loses his or her seat, or loses his or her seat. So we know that the suspension of Natasha is very wrong, because court has held severally. And secondly, is not just Natasha, is shutting down Kogi Central from being heard in the Senate. Imagine there is a natural disaster there. Who will tell them? Who will inform the Senate about that? If there is any issue that comes up within that senatorial zone, nobody will present it because their own is not there. So what happens? What if she's recalled? If she's recalled, a notice will be given to the Senate President, which will be announced declaring her seat vacant, and INEC, of course, will conduct election within 3 months to fill the vacancy because the law abhors vacuum. So if it's not that if she recalled, the Kogi Central will not have a representative in the Senate. So if she's recalled, INEC will conduct election for another person to emerge to replace her position.
All right, INEC will conduct another election to make sure they get another person representing her. But as the case is right now, the case is in court. All right, a case which is in court, and the case has not been decided, and there is a recall going on. Is it proper?
Well, it's to know what the case is for, to know the subject matter of the case, because I'm aware of one of defamation. So, and also I'm aware of one that she says she sued the Senate, that the Senate said we are not aware. And I know that suing the Senate was what got the senators infuriated. There won't be an issue in the Senate. You have not exhausted the domestic remedies. You go to court, going to another arm, bringing the Senate to the ridicule or bringing it to the public glare. So I don't know what the case is for. I'm not a party to the case, but whatever it is, the court cannot stop the Senate from performing its function. It's very clear. And I'm sure the court will not also stop the people of Kogi Central if it is what they desire to do from recalling their senator. But I strongly believe that at least at this point, she should understand the language, because after the suspension, the wife of the president, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, approved that, said that she did well. Lend credit to the activities of the Senate. So at least our mother, the wife of the president, she has been in the Senate a couple of times, and she has experience. And if she is not a thing that is in line, she wouldn't have. If she's been persecuted, she would have spoken in her favor. And even the senator representing us here, Irite, the one of FCT, she spoke against her too. So I strongly believe that this is a time that she threw in the towel, amend her face, and ensure that she reconcile with whatever differences that may be, that may be existing, so that she can go back to the Senate and continue performing her duties as a senator of Federal Republic of Nigeria.
All right, that's for Natasha. What about the Senate President? The Senate President have not really spoken, but then I think his spokesperson spoke, the wife spoke, and a few persons have been speaking. Now, what do you think the Senate President should do? Because as it is right now, we know it is all about sexual harassment, and it has to do with the image of the Senate President and this National Assembly itself. But right now, what will be your final word to the Senate President before we call the program a wrap?
Well, the Senate President is the father of the Senate. It's always good to sue for peace. If there is an opportunity to reconcile with, after all, the Senator Natasha is her friend. If there is a way, Eken Badiwe once said that in the Senate they disagree to agree. So if there is an opportunity to mend fence, it's better that we toe a line of peace than to continue this public display of shame. This one will say this one will say that. At the level of Senator Natasha's level, making an allegation of sexual harassment is strange to somebody like me, because she has, there's what they call alibi. When you are being arrested, you say, I'm not in the scene of the crime. What do? You go and one of the defenses is that you report, you say it immediately that you were arrested. Not when you are arrested, the next day you come and say, hey, I was not there. So immediately you are arrested, you report that issue that, oh, I was not there when the crime took place. Now you say you were sexually harassed. When you were sexually harassed, did you make any complaint? No. Did you have any this thing? The information is that she didn't even tell her husband. So why are you coming now to say that you were sexually harassed? So I'm thinking that it may be aware of, women are aware of reaction to issues. So you say, okay, no problem, I can bring up this issue and say you were sexually harassed. If you condone it, so why bringing it now? If you don't want to condone it, or you feel that you cannot condone it, you should have raised alarm at the nick of time, not afterthought, because people are seeing it now as an afterthought. Because the issue of sexual harassment came after the debacle of seat arrangement being here or not there. That was what came up. So I strongly believe that in the Nigeria and at that level, that we should know better and do better when such opportunity happens or occurs in the near future.
Thank you very much, Barrister, for adding the voice to the conversation today. It's good to have you once again in the studio.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
All right, this is going to be the size of the conversation this morning. At least everyone have heard. And Natasha has recalled, the letter has been accepted by the INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, and of course, Natasha's attention has been drawn to that. But then, the Senate President is going to get the letter if anything happened. But remember that this has not happened since democracy. This has not happened since 1999. Will it happen this time? Or everyone will sue for peace, which is very important for the integrity of the nation and for the peace of everyone involved in this saga. Nigeria is ours. Nigeria is our own country. We are all Nigerians. Many thanks for joining us on Global Morning today, and we'll take a bow for now, and of course Global Morning will come on your way again tomorrow, same time, same station. But don't forget that after now, coming up next is Talk Sport at the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. My name is Ramsey Enoch. Bye bye for now.
Welcome to Global Morning.
Death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure. If you don't say we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve the struggle with ASU strike.
The Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.